Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another Battle to the Death for you. Today we have a comparison you guys have requested. It's honestly not the one I planned on recording right now, but I've been inundated with emails and stuff about it, so here you go. We have the Kizer Vanguard Mini Sheepdog versus the CRKT Pilar. I think a lot of you are clamoring for this because you wanted to get it out before they were gone. In one case, didn't make that. The Pilar is the Blade HQ exclusive CRKT Pilar, and if I didn't mention that before, and it is out of stock. Wah wah, sorry. I talked to somebody at Blade HQ today, and they said they think it's probably coming back, so this is still a valid review because these things live forever. Who knows? Who knows when you're going to be watching this? The Kizer Vanguard Mini Sheepdog sold really, really quick. A lot of colors are pretty hard to get a hold of. There are still a few places that have them before you start typing, hey, you can still get it at whatever. I know that. But some of the colors are pretty hard to get their hands on, especially this blue. So this is also pretty hard to get, but you can still find one if you're not picky about the color. But that said, let's move on, because these are two very, very cool knives. These are knives that you would put in that sort of bulldog knife, a lot of people call it. I like to call it the little big knife. They are small, short blades. They're both, well under 3 inches, well under 2.5 in one case, but they still have like big, beefy blades. It's just something that people like a lot, and I'm getting so I kind of like it too. I like some of these little heavy duty knives. They're just fun to have, and these are both relatively close in price. $50 for the Blade HQ exclusive Pilar, and $69 for the Kizer Mini Sheepdog. So, yeah, not too bad. Pretty reasonably priced. Great price for a backup knife, and that's what these are. They're both really cool backup knives to have. Give you an idea just how small these are. I don't usually do size comparisons of these, but I just want to give you an idea. The two other EDC knives. This is a Kershaw Knockout. Dwarfs both of them, and also another Kershaw I've got here. Even the Dividend is way longer than either of these knives. They're both short, stubby little knives, but they're both really cool in their own way. We will do the usual, how the rolls go. I'm going to do 7 categories. I've changed the title of one, but I'm still doing it the same way, so all the other scores still apply to previous ones. Aesthetics, I'm now calling design and aesthetics. Quality, blade, ergonomics, carry, deployment, and value. All right? And then we're going to do whoever wins each one gets 1 point, and then at the end, we total them up and see who won. I've already done the score totals. There is a clear winner here, but you'll figure it out as we go along. And then I'll do a little conclusion at the end. But before we get going, let's do some little quick specs on each one before we get moving. This is as I said, the Kizer Vanguard Mini Sheepdog. It is a collaboration with Sheepdog Knives. Very cool. I didn't bring the packaging out for either of these, but very cool little packaging. It does come with even like a little patch, a little CO1C patch and stuff. It's kind of cool. This is from their Vanguard line, which used to be their inexpensive line, but now Tangram exists, so this is kind of their mid-line now. You're looking at VG10 blade with a liner lock and G10 handle scales, and it's running on full bearings. So it's a pretty slick little design. Typical stuff you see from Vanguard as far as specs go. But a very neat little design from Sheepdog, and I'm very glad that they're making it. But let's do some technical specs. And again, these are 1-inch squares on here. Overall length, 5.77 inches. Blade length of 2.63 inches. You have a blade thickness of just 0.11 inches, so fairly thin. And you have a handle thickness of 0.45 inches. And a weight of, let me find it here to make sure I have them right, about 3.2 ounces. So pretty light, obviously. It's a small knife. It's not a complete featherweight because it does have kind of a beefy blade on it, but it's fairly light. Let's move on to the Pilar. Switch pages on my notes here. You have an overall length of 5.9 inches. Blade length of 2.4 inches, so you're under 2.5 here. If you're in a place that some places do have laws that say you have to have under 2.5, so this is under that, which is good. You have a weight of 3.1 ounces according to my scale. I think they claim a little bit less than that. Handle thickness of 0.44, so just a tick thinner. Blade thickness quite a bit thicker at 0.15 inches. Now, let's get into the scoring categories. Set them back both here where you can see them. And we are going, my logo is a bit off center tonight. I apologize about that. Let's talk about design and aesthetics. Aesthetically, they both, look kind of like, the kind of typical of these little big knives. And I like them both, but I do have to say the Pilar is just a bit swoopier, a bit cooler looking. And as far as the overall design features go, they've done a lot of really cool things with the Pilar. It's got this nice forward choil and stuff, and I don't know. I think design-wise, this is a Jesper Voxnaes design. I don't think I mentioned that before. So both of these are collaborations with other people, and I do admit I'm a bit of a Voxnaes fanboy. I do like almost everything he makes once I get it in my hand. And this one especially, this thing is fantastic. This design is worthy of making a custom of. If this was a custom in M390 or a semi-custom, whatever, if he used Fox or whoever, and it was M390 and carbon and titanium and it costs, $200, I would still jump on it in a second. Again, this is only 50, and this is the upgraded one. The original version was 25. Still a great design, but had some flaws. This was an effort to fix that. Just an awesome design. Where this is a really cool design. I don't hate it at all. It's more of a cleavery style look, and a lot of people do really like that. Cleavers are so hot right now, but yeah, this strikes more things that are really hot right now. It's a little big knife, and it has a cleaver. I get that, but I think as far as just overall design and aesthetic, I gotta give it to the Pilar in this one. So that is 1 point to the Pilar. All right, quality. This one isn't really very close. I have to say. The Kizer Vanguard Mini Sheepdog is a Kizer Vanguard. It's great. I have no issues with it whatsoever. Detent was good. Lockup is really good. For a liner lock. The centering's great. No issues with this thing whatsoever. It's perfectly fine, and for $69, it's priced right for the amount of quality. You get the G10's really nice. It's really well done. A lot of times it seems like when people do these little mill things, you'll get some little schmutz and stuff in there. Nothing like that. Everything is good. The screws are pretty good quality. The pivot looks great. It's great quality. Whereas on the Pilar, at least this one that I got from BHQ, it was filthy inside. And when I took it apart, I saw some stuff I really didn't like. This aluminum backspacer looks like it was machined with bandsaw. It's just really messed up inside, and it's just inside. These scratches are mostly my fault, but still, it's scratched up really easy, and you can see like the backspacer isn't quite even there the way it's machined. Once I got it cleaned out and everything, it worked great, and it's fine, but it still has this aesthetic kind of just gross thing on the back. Yeah, the quality on this thing is not great. Now I do know 4 or 5 other people who got them, and they say they're fine and they're great and the nicest CRKTs they've ever got. One of them said, okay, but for me, I'm judging against the 2 that I have. This one was pretty poor quality-wise until I fixed it. This one was great out of the box. So very easy win for the Kizer as far as quality goes. And it's not just because it's more expensive. It's way more than what is it? $20 better than that is. It was way better in quality. Blade. This one was a bit closer, but I still have to give it to the Kizer. It's VG10 versus 12C27 steel, which is way better than the original Pilar was. That was 8CR, wah wah. But this is better. It does cut better than the original one. The blade grind is a little better, but it's still much thicker behind the blade than the Sheepdog is. And Kizer does a really good job with their VG10, and it's a much better slicer. You're getting a much more usable blade length, which it comes to matter on a knife this small. You have to give the win on the blade to the Mini Sheepdog. They both do have very good sharpening choils, by the way. I will mention that. They both did a good job with that, but got to give a win there, again, to the Mini Sheepdog. Now, ergonomics, this is another category that was not close. This is okay for a knife this size. It works all right. I cannot get a full 4-finger grip on it in any way at all. There's no way to choke up or anything like that. That's not a deal breaker for a knife this small, but it does remain that I cannot. Where on the Pilar, totally can when you choke up and use that forward finger choil, which is the way this knife is meant to use. You can move your thumb up. It's a nice wide blade, not lots of place to put it. This thing is a super comfortable knife to hold. It's more comfortable than a lot of full-size knives that I have. Again, excellent design from Jesper Voxnaes. It's definitely my winner in this category. Ergonomically, for a knife this size, the Pilar is just about perfect. That's why we all wish they made a fancy one, because it's just about perfect ergonomically. It really, really is. So very easy win to the CRKT in the ergonomics category. In the carry, this one was pretty close. Both carry okay. The weight isn't, it's 0.1 ounce. That doesn't matter. Both very similar in handle thickness and stuff. I will say that the Mini Sheepdog does carry a bit lower than this does, but also I will say that I use both of these knives as kind of backup. I don't carry them as like a primary. I carry them in my little fifth pocket of my pants, and I don't wear tuck shirts very much, like that coin pocket. So my shirt's covering stuff up, so I don't carry as much, or I don't care as much about how low or high it carries. This does have a lanyard hole, which if you are going to carry this as a primary knife, I'm not a lanyard guy, but I could see why you'd want one on it. This doesn't have it. This slides in and out of the pocket super easy because you've just got steel on steel. This G10 is pretty grippy, and it is a bit grippy coming in and out of the pocket. So have to give the win for carry to the Pilar. All right, let's talk about deployment. Let's leave them closed since we're doing deployment. Nothing really wrong with the way that this one deploys. I will say, in my experience, the BHQ exclusive one, I don't know if it's this G10 or it's carbon fiber over G10 laminate or the different bushing sizes or something. It's not quite as smooth as my original one, but it's not bad. It does, you can spider flick it, all that stuff. It does require a bit of wrist. You know, it's a thumb hole open. You can flick it lots of different ways, and it's fine, but you can hear. Yeah, you can kind of hear that noise, and this is after cleaning it out thoroughly twice. So, yeah, it's fine. It's absolutely fine for this purpose of this knife. The deployment isn't bad at all. I'm not knocking it, but it's not anywhere as close to this Mini Sheepdog. I mean, this thing is running on ball bearings, rockets out, G10 is perfect, and it does that. With a blade this tiny with almost zero weight, I mean, not zero weight, it's a big thick blade, or big tall blade, but it is a very short blade, not much weight, and it still just totally falls shut every time. It's just, it's so much fun. That's what I said earlier when I reviewed this knife. I've called it probably the most fun knife that I've had in 2018, and I still stand by that. It's just fun. It's small and it's crazy and it's weird, and it does that. I love the deployment on this thing. Easy, easy, easy. Knock it out of the park. Grand slam home run win for deployment to the Kizer Mini Sheepdog. Now value, again, $50 versus $69. I still got to give it to the Kizer. I just think you're getting more. As I said, Kizer VG10 is really nice. You're getting ceramic ball bearings. You're getting that awesome flip deployment. I say you're probably getting a little bit easier warranty to deal with. CRKT. CRKT has a pretty great warranty department in my experience. I have sent a couple things back to them. They've always been awesome. But I do have to give it to the value-wise still, even though it's $20 more expensive, to the Mini Sheepdog. You're just getting a whole lot of cool knife for this, you know. Both are collabs from really cool designers, so that's kind of a wash. But material-wise, I just think you're getting a lot more bang for the buck with the Mini Sheepdog. So, where does that leave us? A 4-3 win for the Mini Sheepdog. But I have to say, in my mind, it's not that close. I think it's a much bigger win to the Mini Sheepdog. If I only had one of these, it'd be the Mini Sheepdog. And I'm ashamed to say that because I love the design of this knife. But at $50, they didn't go far enough. If these were the same price and this had slightly better steel, say 14C28, and it was running on at least phosphor bronze washers, this is only running on Teflon. Again, to go back to the value, that's something I forgot to mention. It only runs on Teflon. If it was running on phosphor bronze washers on 14C28, this would be a much closer, probably even a win for this, because it's just so ergonomically perfect in my mind for being so small. But It doesn't. It has quality issues, in my experience anyway, and CRKT is kind of up and down on the quality. They're a big company. They make a whole lot of stuff. I don't expect them to be perfect every time, but I would, if this was just, if they'd have put the extra $20 into it and it was a $70 knife and it had just a little bit better materials and it was the same price as this, but it was spec to that, I would give it to the Pilar because I love the ergonomics of it. But alas, it is not. So very, very clear win in this one to the Kizer Mini Sheepdog. This is a very cool knife. As I said, probably my most fun knife I reviewed in 2018. It's just an awesome little thing. If you can get your hands on the color you want, go out and get one of these. It is fantastic. I've been Brian. I hope you also have a fantastic day. Talk to you later.